Alright everyone, I just got back from seeing Hellboy. So, this film was quite an interesting time. I definitely have some very mixed thoughts about it. The first thing that I want to just say right off the bat is that this film definitely suffered from not being as fun and exciting as it should be, and I was kind of disappointed because the trailers kind of set it up to be kind of with humor along the lines of like Deadpool or something, where it has a lot of humor in it, there's a lot of fun, a lot of you know, exciting things happening, and this movie really didn't have any of that. Pretty much all of the funny moments that you saw from the trailers were the only funny moments that were in the film, which is really a disappointment, because that's the tone that I thought they were going with this film, and unfortunately it just wasn't that way. This film was actually kind of boring in a lot of ways, which sucked. It really did. You know, I'm really disappointed by this film. I really am. I'm really sad to say that, because you guys know how excited I was for this movie, and you know, going into this movie and stuff, I was just really excited to see what they're going to do. And you know, I obviously was a big fan of the original Hellboy films, and so, you know, at first I wasn't very optimistic about this film, and then the trailers got me more excited, because I was like, okay, they're kind of like going for a Deadpool type of feeling here, and it just wasn't that way at all. This movie had way too much exposition in it, and the exposition wasn't even that exciting. Like, there wasn't any of none of the exposition was fun to watch. You know, one of the things that I was thinking about after I saw this film was that this really is kind of the same situation as with the Spider-Man movies, where, you know, we had the original trilogy that came out, the Raimi trilogy, and those films were full of charm, were a lot of fun, were really well written, and then we had the Andrew Garfield films that came out. And, you know, it was a retelling of the story that we already knew, so it's kind of boring to rewatch the same events happening over again. And it was also not that great, because they were retelling the events, but in a way that wasn't as well written as it was the first time around. And that's kind of the same situation with Hellboy here, where they kind of retell his origin, and we already kind of know what his origin is, so it's kind of boring to watch that over again, and they just don't tell it as fun as Guillermo del Toro did. And it's that was definitely one of the big things that I thought about this film that really was really one of the weak points. The writing is one of the weak points about this film. You know, and the thing is that there was definitely potential with this film. There were definitely things that you could see through all of the mess that could have made a really good film, but they just never really tapped into that, because the writing was honestly not that great. David Harbour could have been a really good Hellboy, but he just wasn't given good stuff to work with. The script just was not that great. There were a lot of characters in here that kind of made you wonder why they were in the film. They didn't really feel like they needed to be there. And you know, the monsters, which I was really excited about, man, the visual effects on these monsters was just not that great, and it really took me out of the experience and out of the moment, which is really sad, because I love checking out new monsters, and I love it when they have these different creatures, and the creatures were actually pretty creative for the most part. I thought that their design was cool, but they were just so cheaply made that it really just took me out of the moment, which is sad. The practical effects were not that great either. You know, compared to Guillermo del Toro, who always nails it with his practical effects. He's just like a master of it. He knows exactly how to create something that just looks so real and a part of that world, and this film wasn't able to replicate that. So, you know, like I said, you could definitely see the potential of this film, but honestly, at the end of the day, I still wish that there was a third movie from Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman instead of this mess. And you know, I was rooting for this film, but now I'm just gonna go back to rooting for the third film from Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman, because that's really the film that we need at this point. I really don't care about this universe that they set up. I don't care about this series. None of these characters are really characters that I care about at all. And I'm definitely not going to be rewatching this Hellboy movie probably ever again. It just wasn't that fun to watch. So, you know, you know, that's kind of how a lot of the critics talked about this film. They kind of had the same thoughts that I did, and they were pretty spot on with this film. So yeah, definitely I wouldn't recommend going to check it out in theaters, because not even the monsters and their visual effects could save this film, because they were pretty badly done as well. So, you know, it just wasn't a fun time, really. So you know, there's some other good movies to check out. Go see Shazam or something instead, because this film is just not worth it. So there you go. That's my review for Hellboy. So I'm gonna give this film 2 stars. 2 stars out of 5. It really was not that great of a film, and you know, definitely not worth checking out. So don't even bother going to see this film. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah.